All right, welcome back, everybody. Back again for the Batman Beyond cast reunion and table read. Boom. There we go. I'm excited for this one, man. Batman Beyond and Batman the Animated Series and Justice League. Those shows, man, childhood memories. So it looks like the panel will start in just another minute or so. Thank you again for joining me. All right. So looks like they're just entertaining the crowd for now. You know, I got to think, like, there's rumors HBO Max is doing a Batman the Animated Series sequel. Will they revisit Batman Beyond? I mean, we're getting Michael Keaton in the Flash movie, and that could lead to a Batman Beyond in his universe. But oh, it started. Let me shut up and start this. Here we go, guys.
Romano. Hello, everybody. How are y'all?
Hello.
Good.
There they are.
Good. I gotta say, I'm so glad. So glad to have you all joining us for the table read. But before we get into it, I want to know about the
Mr.
chosen
Boy
episode
Meets World,
for the table
top
read,
right.
which is entitled "Out of the Past" from season 3, episode 5. Like, out of all the 52 episodes that exist, why did you all choose this particular one?
It's a really wonderful episode. It's got a musical component to it that I like so much. And we had joked for years about doing Batman the musical. And so we finally did it and incorporated it into our show without making it
Just
silly.
rewatched it the other
as far
night
as why
too.
why it made sense in the show. And the story is excellent. It's weird and it's got a wonderful twist to it. I just think it's one of our better shows.
I also have to say it was one of the reasons that I love this episode is because it's one of the few times that I got to work with Kevin Conroy when he was younger Bruce Wayne, which is
yeah.
cool. So it was also
Yeah.
like it was like Batman the animated series,
right.
which is really, really cool.
Oh, right.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah.
Now, obviously, a whole lot of love for the episode out of the past, but we have a fan question for the whole group. Devin Giles asked on YouTube to the Batman Beyond cast, what is your favorite episode of Batman Beyond? I'll start with you, Kevin.
Oh!
Put the man on the spot, of course.
Actually, this one is, I think, probably my favorite episode because I had so much fun doing it. And you get a lot of, as Will was saying, younger Bruce Wayne in it. So there was a whole range for me to play in this episode, and I enjoyed that a lot.
What about you, Will?
I had a couple. I loved that when Terry was actually able to join the Justice League, which then was really a setup for the Justice League animated series. So to be part of what I like to call the pilot episode of the Justice League animated series, even though it wasn't at all, it was an episode called The Call. And I remember Bruce Timm telling me that they were kind of using that as a template to see if they could do the multi-character story arcs that they were going to use for Justice League. So that was cool. But it was also for the most fun. I think you're hard pressed to beat Egg Baby.
It's my favorite. Egg Baby's my favorite. I know it's silly. I like the episodes that were about real things that teenagers encounter. Not just what happens in a superhero world, but what happens when kids are given the chore to take a fake baby and make sure that you can take care of it. I thought that was a wonderful episode. That's my favorite.
So I really got my start. Andrea called me in because some actor couldn't make it to an audition or to a recording. So I came in and filled in, and Andrea and I had a connection, and Bruce liked me, and I was a little, young kid, just a punk doing impersonations. And the next thing I know, he was like, "Do your Christopher Walken for the Scarecrow character." It was like, "Okay, Batman, you're gonna die." And they started casting me. So I was always sort of a filler and would play some fun characters, and I just enjoyed playing. So I was never a huge role in it, but I was an integral part of the show.
You were, and I was totally joking. I think we didn't cast any aspersions there. I loved having you on the show, and as you can tell, because we called you in all the time. You also didn't you use your Ted Levine voice? Didn't you use him for something?
Oh yeah, that's probably my favorite episode. I would agree with the guy from Silence of the Lambs. We don't even know what you're talking about, Batman. So I remember something.
So good.
Don't get me started. I love impressions. I could just listen to you going on all day, but I think it's time for us to just like jump. Let's just batarang right into the episode Out of the Past. So I'll pass things over to you, Andrea. Take it away.
Oh, thank you ever so much. Thank you. You guys, we're going to do a table reading this episode. And I'm going to read you the stage directions around it, kind of tracking you. So at the very beginning of the show, we see this huge stage. It's a big Broadway stage. It's a Gotham stage. A spotlight sweeps across, and we hear...
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. Batman. There is a song the good folks sing.
Song the good folks sing.
Batman. About a hero on the wing. Hero on the wing. Batman. I am Gotham's darkest night. The villain's darkest fight.
Kevin Conroy, man. I love you.
Batman.
And Terry claps enthusiastically in the crowd. Bruce Wayne shoots Terry a look, saying under his breath,
You hate me, don't you?
Lighten up. It's your birthday.
Don't remind me.
And back on the stage, we see an actor who's playing Commissioner Gordon.
Good work, Cape Crusader. Once again, you've saved our fair city from those vile miscreants.
They were no problem, Commissioner. For as we all know, criminals are a superstitious, cowardly lot. They plan and plot, but they always get caught. Their evil schemes all come to
Yes,
naught.
I agree.
A superstitious, cowardly lot.
And he buries his head, Bruce does, in the audience, buries his head in his hands with a grunt.
Oh, come on. It took me weeks to get tickets for this show. It's Shui.
It's swarming.
And he stands and exits as he tries to get through the crowd.
Excuse me. One side, please.
Gotta love older Bruce.
We're in the Batcave. Bruce sits at the computer looking through an electronic scrapbook. A final image appears. It shows him and Barbara Gordon together and in love. And Ace suddenly stirs, sniffing the air. Will? And Bruce looks up saying,
What?
I know you loved her.
and here comes Talia, as beautiful as ever. She carries a covered silver tray with her.
But I cannot believe you did not save a picture of me as well.
He's awestruck.
Talia.
She removes the silver cover.
Happy birthday, Bruce. Roast pheasant with truffle risotto. Just like we shared in that little bistro in Milan.
And he turns away embarrassed.
I can't eat that anymore.
I'm sorry, I didn't think.
It's been years, Talia. It seems the Lazarus Pit agrees with you.
Time has not tempered your sarcasm, beloved. My father used the Lazarus Pit as a crutch. It is a gift, Bruce. One which must be used wisely. A gift I would now
You
share.
said voice
with you.
actors are no
And coming
talent.
down the stairs to
Get
the
out of
Batcave,
here.
we hear
This is
Terry.
awesome.
A superstitious, cowardly lot. Man, you missed a great show.
He heads up the stairs,
What are you eating? It smells
and he catches sight of Talia.
gorgeous.
Terry, this is Talia, an old friend. Talia,
I've been aware of Mr. McGinnis for quite some time. With a new Batman in action, I knew he had to be someone close to you. Terry was the only candidate.
I've heard about you too. You're the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, one of the old man's worst enemies from way back. You helped the original Batman fight Ra's one last time in the near apocalypse of '09. For the last couple of decades, you've been putting your father's money to work cleaning up the mess he made. Current residence is a 200-acre estate on New Cuba.
Terry taps the back computer as he notices Bruce's surprised look.
What? You think I was down here playing vid games?
Very thorough, Terry. Though father's name was pronounced Raish, not Raz. A common mistake.
Fair enough. Now
Raish
maybe
Al
you'll clear up
Ghul.
another mystery. Why are you here?
To wish an old friend happy birthday and offer him a gift. Please consider it, Bruce.
She gives him a kiss on
Yeah.
the cheek.
They still got
Stay
it.
well, beloved. I'll be at the Gotham Plaza until tomorrow night.
good night, Talia.
HBO Max
She
needs
exits
to
up
do
the
something
stairs.
with
Terry
this.
says,
A gift?
At the school library, Max reacting in disbelief to something Terry is saying.
Eternal youth? You're slamming me.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first. But after everything I've read on Talia and her father, I believe it.
You think the old man's gonna do it?
Doubtful.
Well, I'll take his place.
Sorry, Max. Wayne said those Lazarus pits are more trouble than they're worth. Still, did waver. There are times I can see he wishes it was him in the suit instead of me.
You think if he takes the plunge, that'll end your bad nights?
Well, now that you mention it, could be.
We're on the Gotham City streets. We see Bruce's car turn down the street. The right front tire blows out. He twists the wheel as the car slightly skids. So trying to get the car under control at 59, Kevin. And he steps out with irritation. He glances at the flat of the tire.
Oh, beautiful.
And now he's lifting the tire out of the trunk. And even though it's got some sort of help, it's hard for him. So give us a couple of straining grunts. Got it? Will, you're covering Punk 1, if you would. Real tough.
Car trouble, old timer?
I can manage.
Well, we'll be happy to call roadside service. Davey, help Grandpa here find his car.
And Bruce brings up his cane hard into the Punk's gut. And Bruce instantly whirls to attack the third Punk, so an attacking sound. And the first Punk is backing away.
Keep away from me, you old freak.
Bruce is still a badass at 60 plus years old.
Hey, stop!
Let her go.
Bruce.
You want her? You catch her. Ugh.
And he shoves her in the middle of the street. She's going to scream and hit the pavement hard. And the cars are swerving all around you, so call out, "Help!" And Bruce moves forward into the street, pulls her up, says,
"Come on!"
As we see a huge truck bearing down on them, a crash is inevitable as we end Act 1. Bum, bum, bum. Good, you guys. We got through Act 1. Hey, Kevin, we didn't do our normal beginning cue for setting the levels. I need to go into Act 2. I need you. Would you?
Oh, Andrea.
Kevin.
Do you remember you guys always gave the level doing that?
I always
made
thought it
him
was
do
that.
that for me. Thank you, my darling.
There
I
you
love you so much for that. You make me so happy. Top Act 2, just as we ended the previous act, the teen girls in the middle of the street screams. And Batman swoops down, grabs Bruce and the girl, carries them to safety the opposite side of the street. The girl is freaked out with a scared whimper as she runs away. Batman says,
Suit scanners picked up your car's distress beacon. You okay?
Even a few years ago, I could have gotten us both to safety.
and for the first time, Bruce really looks old.
Yeah, it's rough sometimes seeing old Bruce
We're now at the
Wayne.
Gotham Plaza
Yeah,
Hotel.
hey,
We hear
We're all big fans.
I'm not even sure
obviously.
why I came.
we are in Talia's lushly appointed room as Bruce goes on.
Today, I felt completely helpless. If Terry hadn't been there, both that girl and I would have been killed.
Perhaps it was fate's way of giving you another chance. For years you devoted yourself to this city. It has taken your youth, your strength, very nearly your
Her
life.
voice acting is so good.
No one has
Man.
earned a second chance more than you.
He looks away.
I was never looking for any reward.
Then do it for me, Bruce. I want to broaden my philanthropic corporation to every nation. Think of the good we could do if we joined forces. A dream for the world and a dream for ourselves, beloved.
Please read all my
And we cut to the
audiobooks.
sky. A sleek, futuristic jet cuts through the blue tropical sky. Carter at line 87. Who's playing Carter? Kevin, darling, you are.
Pilot says we're clear for landing, ma'am.
Thank you, Carter.
And now to Bruce and Terry.
You've been so quiet, both of you.
I'm having second thoughts.
I understand your reluctance, Bruce. You saw the pit's effect on my father. I assure you the process is now much safer.
But it's not that. I'm wondering if I have the right to do this at all.
We've been through all that. This is our time now. And I know what's on your mind, Terry. You're worried that when Bruce becomes young, he'll want to be Batman again.
I'll tell you right now, there's no way I'm wearing the Robin suit.
Don't worry. Bruce's late nights are over. I'll be keeping him close by me at all times.
We're at Talia's estate.
Bruce is ready to start the process, Terry.
Terry's been looking at the portrait of Raish hanging over the fireplace.
Terry,
Sorry. Guess I got caught up in old Roz here.
Raish Al Ghul was a man of many contrasts. Leader, environmentalist.
Sociopath.
She gives him a look.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was going to say father. I think that's how he'd like to be remembered.
We're now in the Lazarus
Sorry.
chamber. Nearby is a large, unique computer. Bruce is placed into a two-piece body-shaped capsule.
Let me say again how safe the process is, beloved. There will be no pain.
Let's get it over with.
An overhead crane picks up the capsule, gently lowers it into the Lazarus pit. Jets of steam start to shoot out. Talia raises her arms after a while and says,
Enough!
The capsule is raised out of the pit, gently lowered. It opens. Bruce slumps out. It is a younger and stronger Bruce Wayne as he gives a dazed groan.
Oh.
Nice.
He's so young. Bruce, are you okay?
And Bruce suddenly fiercely grips Terry's arm. He looks crazed. Terry gives a surprised. Talia instantly moves to Bruce's side, gives him a spray hypo of sedative, and he faints, Talia says.
A side effect of the pit's restorative powers. Believe me, it's not nearly as bad as it once was.
That's not very reassuring.
We're now inside the guest chambers. It's morning. Bruce slowly wakes up.
Good morning, Bruce. You're looking well.
And he gets out of bed, looks in the mirror.
I left in some gray. I thought it looked distinguished.
Like Rage.
And a little bit younger, Kevin, there, if he would, at 119. I like the discovery, but maybe just a little bit younger in voice, tiny bit.
Like Rage.
Nice.
Thank you for the miracle, Talia.
It's good
Thank you
directing.
for restoring my youth.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be ungrateful. It's just that this is so new.
I understand. It will take several more immersions before the rejuvenation truly sets in. But you will accept it all in time.
And we hear Terry say, as he's watching Bruce balancing on one hand on a vaulting horse, Terry says at 124.
Wow. I always wondered what you were like at your peak. Now I have some idea.
Not quite at my peak, but certainly better than I've been capable of in years. Oh, the agility, the stamina, everything. It's all coming back to me.
And he's looking at himself in the mirror. With a sudden movement, he smashes the mirror.
Ah!
Hey,
It's unnatural. It's a cheat.
but you're strong again.
No. If I stay here, I'll be weaker than ever.
And Carter enters.
I heard a noise, sir. Something wrong?
I think, yes, I like the voice, I like the accent. I think he did have him a little bit pitched lower before, just a little bit.
I heard a noise, sir. Something wrong.
Awesome.
We're leaving.
Nice, acting to yourself. Carter raises his arm to bar Bruce's way and says,
Afraid that's not in the boss's plan, sir. Then I'll tell her myself.
Carter at 140, a very mild impact grunt from Terry gives you a hit, but it hardly hurts you. Kevin at 140. And Terry throws a couple more punches. Those are the exertions of Tommy 141 will. And then Carter grabs you by the throat. So throw a couple punches and then get choked. Carter gets jumped from behind by Bruce, so a surprise grunt from Carter. Bruce lifts up Carter, tosses him into the three guards. Bruce just as you throw. Thank you. And all three men, please just give me a at 122. Give me two of them. Get hit and then hit the ground. All of you together and. Excellent. And then Terry says at 145.
Shall we?
After you.
And Bruce and Terry storm down the hallway toward Talia's study. Bruce says,
We're out of here, right now.
and he reaches Talia's door. From inside, we hear Raish's voice. Yep.
I gave orders not to be disturbed.
It's him. Rage.
And he kicks the door open, and there is Talia. And she
Crazy reveal.
Beloved,
I heard him, Talia. Where's Rage?
I did not want you to find out this way. But I suppose what's done is done.
The look in her eyes grows cold and imperious as we hear her finish the sentence.
Detective.
Oh, that's so good! Very good, you guys! Well done! Bruce and Terry are both engulfed in a bright flash. Excellent. As we end Act 2, we're on to Act 3. Really good. Go nicely, you guys.
They should do this for every episode.
Carry Terry's unconscious body
I would watch
away
it.
from the estate. Carl, Michael, this is you.
The bite isn't what finishes him, you know. That's just to get a good grip.
And we're talking about a bunch of huge crocodiles on the ground. And Will?
That right?
Oh, yeah. You should stick around and watch sometime, Mikey. It's fascinating. First, they drag the guy under. Then they spin with their tails, smashing the body against the bottom. Sometimes it takes 2, 3 spins to really pulp the poor jerk.
Yeah, get help, Carl.
What? What? I like to watch. Is that so wrong?
You know what? Just throw him in.
Terry says he's
Freeze holding back her
kicking out with
laugh.
his feet, nailing Carl in the gut. Carl has recovered, pulls a knife from his coat,
Oh, man,
lunges
Kevin
at Terry,
Conroy.
saying,
Oh, no, you don't.
Terry darts out of the way. Carl goes rocketing over the edge of the deck, off into the bog with a terrified. "Ah!" Now he's in the water with the crocodile, slashing with his knife at the attacking boots, trying to keep them at bay.
Oh, hell no.
No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Good.
No.
Very good. And referring back to his earlier line, Terry says at 168.
It is fascinating.
That's it. Picks up his backpack, takes off at a run toward the estate. Carter, who's been watching, turns away from the monitor to call out,
Security!
inside the Lazarus lab, nearby the pit, it bubbles quietly.
Yes,
His
it
arms
is.
and legs are restrained. Raish at
Like I
170.
said,
Michael.
I can watch an
You always
entire
were the perfect
table read on
specimen,
every episode.
detective.
And we see Talia now looking as cold and haughty as Raish did in his prime. So we have this bizarre image of Talia, but it's Raish's voice coming out as he goes on at 171.
Even old age has not softened you as much as I had feared.
I should have known you'd cheat death again, Rage.
I don't cheat death. I master it. Though I assure you, detective, this time my longevity comes at a price most dear.
And as it sinks in, Bruce says,
Talia.
I did indeed survive our last battle, but my body was broken far beyond the pit's power to heal. In order to save my life, I called upon Talia to undertake the ultimate act of loyalty.
You sacrificed her. Your own daughter.
I did what I had to do. At the time, this computer could imprint my thoughts and memories only on someone of my close genetic match. But now, this youthful form has served its purpose. I must move on to a new host body. Yours.
and we see Bruce's face, his anger has given way to contempt.
Sure, Rage. Why not? Anything to hold off the Grim Reaper another few seconds. I take it back. You don't cheat death. You whimper in fear of it.
And Talia slaps Bruce across the face with the word,
Silence!
nice.
Silence! And you hit like a girl.
Carter, go to 182. He directs Kevin, directs the teams.
You take your men down to the beach. You, search the swamp. Nothing leaves this estate. You understand?
And Michael and Will together, if you would, just generic voices at 184 together. And
Yes, sir.
Carter, Batman reaches up in the shadows, slams Carter into a wall. So Carter gives a surprise grunt at 186.
Where's
Batman?
Wayne?
Yes, now I know Kevin, so
I'm
confusing.
sorry. Oh,
Wait a minute.
Hey, that
Oh,
was
no.
wow.
Kevin, you're
That
not
I knew that was
coming
gonna happen.
here.
I knew that was going to happen.
So Kevin,
25 years for you to
For
do
that to happen.
25
That's right.
I knew it was going to happen.
it had to happen at some point. Nicely
And I'm
done.
glad we're here for
Right.
it.
So try this for me. Kevin, give me Carter's short good. Ugh. And then we'll come right in at 187 as you're kind of holding him against the wall. Start with the short grunt at 186, Kevin.
Where's Wayne?
Thank you. We're in the Lazarus lab. A helmet-like device extends from the machine as Raish tells us, looking like Talia still at 188. Go ahead, Michael.
Don't waste your contempt on me, detective. When Talia offered you youth again, you fairly drooled to take it. A simple blow to your ego, that staged incident with the flat tire, was all I needed to ensnare you.
And Bruce is fighting against the electric charges. So give me a little sense of fighting, Kevin. A little.
I guess for a moment, I was as weak as you, Rage.
And a helmet similar to Bruce's lowers onto her head.
This computer will finally still that insolent tongue. I've refined it so I no longer need a genetic match. Your brainwaves will be purged as mine or implanted in their place. I shall return to Gotham in your stead, bringing with me proof both written and genetic, that I am the long-forgotten son of Bruce Wayne and Talia. How ironic that your company and holdings will fund my new empire.
A batarang flies in, severs the helmet from the cable connecting it to the machine.
So
Talia
sinister.
cries out. That's you, Michael.
No!
192. That's it.
No!
Batman.
Lady, that is the sickest thing I've ever seen. You're creeping me out.
You. She kissed me.
Nice. Nice. A blast hits Batman.
I underestimated you, boy. I won't do so again.
And
Well, he is feeling
and
young.
Talia knocking the laser weapon from her hand.
But
So
yeah,
we need a page
I
by there,
see you
so
with the
that's
comment.
it. That's it. Batman tosses 2 more exploding batarangs at the computer. Machine goes up in a big flash of fire.
No! I need the computer. It can't be destroyed!
Talia quickly leaps up, smiles as she checks that the computer is working and says,
It's
Uh-huh.
safe.
outside, the estate is blown to kingdom come. Batman looks back at the fire and says,
I'm going back. Maybe
Oh,
I
love
can
this
still
line.
say
and Bruce stops him.
Whatever was in there died years ago.
We dissolve to the
Love
Batcave.
that.
Bruce is almost his old age again. 65, come to find out, Kevin. What do you know? Terry steps in and says,
more gray hair today.
I'm not crying. Within a week, I'll be back to normal.
Sorry I never met her. The real Talia.
She was a very special woman.
The special woman?
You going on patrol sometime tonight?
Yeah. See you in the morning.
puts on the bat mask, exits. Bruce regards the image on the screen thoughtfully and says,
Rest well, beloved.
and he takes his cane and walks.
So good. Well done, guys.
You guys
Man.
are awesome.
God, that
You
ending.
guys are
Man.
wonderful. You make
Nice
me so
job.
happy.
That was super shui. Andrea Romano, I want to thank you for your beautiful direction. Like it reminded me of my childhood. All I did was close my eyes, except your direction wasn't in my mind when I was watching it as a kid. But it was great to have that.
I have to say something for
Thank
everybody.
Yes,
because
Tracy.
I know
Yes,
everybody feels this. It is a delight to be directed by you again.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Wow.
And you guys, you respond
I
so
miss you,
beautifully.
baby.
Even with all the technical things that we dealt with, you heard me, you responded, you do what you always did. This was why I loved my job so very much. Was
This
because
is
I got to
hitting
work
right
with
in the
people
feels
for
right
years
here,
and years
man.
and years, and it made me so happy. Thank you, my
We'll bring you
darlings.
out of
You're
retirement.
awesome.
We'll bring you out of retirement.
There's a
We're
whole.
gonna bring
It could happen. You know, if you remember, you guys, when we did this show, we would rehearse and record it, the initial record, in about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was always
And then
fun.
we would come back 8 months later and do 2 more hours of ADR on it, or maybe 4 hours of ADR, because we didn't do the fight stuff in the beginning. We let the animators create the fight scenes, and then we would come back in and make the picture work with our voices at that point. But it was a joy to record. We were in and out. We had remarkable guests who came to play. We were so
Yeah.
lucky to get you guys as often as we could together. And there was times when Kevin was in New York and Will was off doing something, but we still, for the most part, recorded ensemble, which is, for me, the only way.
One final question before we wrap up, though. This is a question from our Facebook. From our Facebook, a fan is asking the question. This is Max McMillan. He asks the question that every Batman Beyond fan always loves to hear the answer to. Can we expect new Batman Beyond series or a movie anytime
Here we go.
soon?
It will depend on the fans asking and asking and asking for it until Warner Brothers would be foolish not to. So they have to begin a campaign of sorts and just let, Warner Brothers know that.
You heard that release the
that's what they
Snyder
want.
Cut
'Cause we
movement?
would like
We
to
got
make
some
it.
work to
It
do.
would be great fun. We're all still around. We're all still available. Everybody's still, doing beautiful work. So yes, please and thank you.
I'm right there with you. I want one. I also want more Kids Next Door. All right. I want more kids next door. I just toss that out there. And thank you all for watching at home. This is IGN's FanFest 2021. We have so much more, so stick around.
Well, you heard her, guys. Okay. We made this happen. We got some work to do, and I'll be right there 100% behind this. Again, HBO Max, there's rumors they're going to do Batman the Animated Series, a sequel with Kevin Conroy. And they would be a fool not to do something on HBO Max with Batman Beyond. Whether it's live action with Michael Keaton in the role, I could definitely see that, or you do animated. And clearly, they have the talent still. They still do this. They enjoy doing this. They love it. We enjoy it. I enjoy it. I'm sure some of you in the chat enjoyed it. But yeah, wow. Talk about just going down memory lane, nostalgia. It was beautiful. It was really great to watch. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate your time, sharing this with me. That's all great. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't. I do these live events whenever I find out about them. And I will be championing the idea of more Batman Beyond for sure. So yeah, you guys have a great weekend. Be safe out there. And I'll catch you guys on the next live stream. Until then, take care.